just brush up everything. So we are starting with the molecular dynamics. So we are just going to revise what we have discussed so far. So molecular dynamics, like I have explained to you, that molecular dynamics is about mimicking the environment for the protein which you're working or whatever system you're working rather. So I gave you the example of a simple cake where we said that if you have baked that cake, you need to check the stability of that cake in a particular environment. Now talking about the protein, if you have modeled a protein in that condition, what you have to keep in mind that whatever protein you have modeled, whether it is stable or not. And if it is stable, then in what conditions it will be unstable, what kind of changes you will observe, that all you will be studying in simulation study. Now talking about the different steps which are involved in simulations. First is what you have to do all kind of preparation, then a setup is built, and then you will be proceeding further for the last thing which is simulation. So let us discuss one by one each of the steps which are involved in reaching the simulation. Okay, so the first is what? The setup. Now this setup basically involves what? Something related to the query. And as discussed, query is nothing but the protein or protein ligand or whatever entity you are working on. So this simulation classes will be dedicated to protein only in water. That is why I'm saying here my query will be what? Either a protein.pdb file or a PDB file taken from a PDB database. That means we are using a PDB ID. Now, if it is a PDB ID, then we have to proceed with the cleaning of the protein as well. Correct? So when we are talking about the cleaning of the protein, what we are dealing with, we will be removing all the heteroatoms which are involved in the protein. The question about the heteroatoms is nullified when we are talking about the proteins only because we will be modeling it. So obviously that protein won't be having any heteroatoms. But when we are talking of the PDB ID, then in that condition, definitely there are some chances that some heteroatoms are there. If they are there, you have to remove it. Now this process of cleaning of the protein can be done with tools like Discovery Studio, Pymol, Rasmol, Chimera, etc. But since I will be dealing with the command lines, you have worked with Discovery Studio before with me, so I'm not taking that thing because you already know that part. So I'll be using a command line in order to clean the protein. And just to give you a name, I will be using a function which is grep, which will be used to clean the protein or delete something from the file which we are working on. Next, after cleaning the protein, we are having exact what we needed. So we are having the grep function. Oh, sorry, the protein file. So here we are having the, what will be the output over here? The clean.pdb file. Correct? That will be my output here. So once we have our clean file, we will be proceeding further in which we will be giving the environment. So we are now setting up what? The environment. Now when we are setting the environment, what are the requirements? Let's talk about that. So here, the first thing which is involved will be box. So what we will do is, we will put my protein within a box. Okay. So we will be putting this thing inside the box. Now when we are talking about the box, this box will depend on the protein which you are working on. If you are working on a protein, okay, so if you are working on a protein which is elongated, you will change the shape of the box. Okay, so you will be deciding depending on the protein you're working on. So this box is nothing but we are keeping everything which I want to simulate within a closed environment. So whatever conditions you will be applying, the same conditions will be applied within the box. Okay, one thing I forgot to tell you over here is, sorry, before the environment we have to apply the force field. Now this force field application is basically what we are trying to understand each and every information about the protein. That means we will understand what are the bond angles, what are the bond distances, dihedral angles, charges present on each atom of each amino acid. And this all we will be knowing with the help of force field. Okay. So we will be doing it with the help of a force field. Okay. Sorry guys. Okay. So now you have understood this thing. So we have first cleaned the protein, then we have applied the force field. Now this force field will give you the information about all the information about the protein, the position of each of the atoms, the charges present on each atom, the distances, the angles and everything. Okay. So with the help of the force field, we will be having those kind of information. Once we have fixed information about each and every entity present in my protein, we will be going for the environment setting. In the environment setting, what we'll do is whatever position we know, now we will put everything or constrain everything within a environment, which is a box. So we will set this particular box and we will put the protein in center so that whatever conditions you want to study, it will be contained within the box. Okay, the same thing. Supposingly you want to see that how I will be behaving, at 40 degrees Celsius. So what people will do, they will put me in a room which is applied with 40 degrees Celsius. So same thing with the protein also. So you are putting your protein in a box. So this box we will be giving to the protein and the protein will be put in the center of this particular box. There are different conditions which you will be analyzing and setting within this particular step of setting up the box, which is basically what periodic boundary condition. Now, what are periodic boundary conditions? This periodic boundary condition is actually what that your protein is actually in the center. I told you. So the protein, none of the entity of your protein should touch the boundary of the box because we don't want that whenever the system will be applied with some temperature, pressure, or any kind of constraints, the system, the protein should not diffuse out of the box. We want everything to be constrained within the box. That is why we will be keeping a condition periodic boundary, which will not allow the protein to touch the boundary of the box. This is first condition. Second is what? The shape of the box. We always define the shape of the box. We never define the size. So we will tell that whether the box shape has to be cubic in or it has to be rhombic, or it has to be dodecahedron or hexa. So multiple shapes are available with the GROMACS, which we will be defining. And this defining thing will be depending on the shape of your protein. If you know that your protein is a globular protein, then you will be going with the cubic because that is fine. But if you supposingly take a rhombic or something like this, what will happen? Extra spacing will be there because of which you might encounter some kind of vague analysis. That is why we prefer to work according to the protein which you're working. So we should not allow a bigger space to the entity or the protein which I'm working on, and we should not allow a very small space of the protein that it will diffuse out of the box. So that is why we define the shape depending on the protein which we are working on and not the size. Size will be defined by the GROMACS only. We don't have to bother about that. Okay. These are the two conditions which you have to keep in mind while defining the box. Next is what after defining the box, we will be solvating my system. That means we will add water. This is a very layman term. You're having a box, put the protein in the center and add water depending about the size. So this is very layman, okay? So we don't use this term in the simulations, language. We say we are solvating the box. So when you're solvating the box, you add water atoms. So when you're adding this water atoms, again, we will be adding water atoms, but we will not be defining how many number of water atoms have to be added. Why? Because that again will be defined by the GROMACS. We will not be adding the water on our own. It will see that how much space is left within the box, excluding the protein space, and based on that, it will add the water. Clear? So we are giving the water environment. This is what. So we are mimicking the environment like I said in the starting. So we are creating the environment now. Next. After adding the water atoms, what we'll do is we will neutralize, because that is how the actual conditions are. So we will be neutralizing, because I told you then we will be applying the force field. We will be you know, informed with how many atoms, how many charges are there on my system. So we know the charges on my system, we know the angles and everything. So if my protein is having some kind of net charge, we need to neutralize it. So after adding the water, we will be neutralizing my system. When you're neutralizing your system, now I'm saying the system. Now system basically means what? Protein plus box plus water. Now, when I was saying system here, the system basically is only protein. Now, here system is protein plus box. Here the system is protein, box and water. So here I'm neutralizing the system. So here when I'm neutralizing the system, supposingly if you're having positive charges, what will you do to neutralize? You will add negative charges to it to neutralize it, right? So when you're neutralizing will depend on how much charge you're having on your system. Supposing you're having plus 5 charge. So what will you do? You will add minus 5 charge to it. Okay. Now if you're adding something extra, you have to replace some atoms from the system, because now here you are adding ions. If you want to add the ions, positive ions, it will be Na. If you want to add the negative ions, it will be chlorine minus Cl. So what will I do is, I don't want that when I am adding some charges or ions to the system, I don't want to replace it with the protein. So what will I do is, I will instruct my system using Gromax that replace the water atoms, because I don't want to replace any of my proteins with these ions. So I will replace the water ions in order to neutralize my system. So by this step, we will be having a system with a net charge equal to 0. This is very important. Each and every step. You cannot just go directly with the energy minimization. Now compare this thing with the energy minimization of the this SPDV thing. What was there in SPDV? We just have to select the entire protein and simply go for energy minimization. That is why I told you that that is something which is something not applicable or not something which is very accurate. So we have to set the environment and everything, which can be done with the help of GrowMax. Okay. Now, once you are done with the neutralization, then you will be going for energy minimization. Okay. So this energy minimization basically do what? Geometrical correction. Now, when it will be performing the geometrical corrections, I will be informing my GrowMax that you can perform 5,000 or 50,000 steps. This is something which I will be defining. Now, when I am saying I will be defining, this defining thing will be happening as per the molecular dynamics parameter file. Please, guys, mute your mic. 50,000 steps that I am allowing. If you want that, no, I don't need 50,000, only 5,000, then I'll be using 5,000 like this. You want 50,000, you direct it like that. But if I'm instructing my system to undergo 50,000 steps for energy minimization, it does not mean that it will forcefully do all those things. Okay, so it will not perform the things forcefully. It will see the feasibility. I am saying perform 50,000. I am saying perform 55,000 steps to do energy minimization. I just need a structure with all the geometrical corrections. But if the feasibility is not there, it will terminate the process at that very moment. So GrowMax is a smart software to understand what is the feasibility of energy minimization. So this energy minimization step in GrowMax does not aim to give you a stable structure. It only aims for geometrical corrections. It is my job to analyze that after performing all the feasible geometric corrections by GROMACS, whether my system is stable or not. That is my job to analyze. Okay, so this is done with the help of a parameter file. Supposingly I am saying that do this task, Shreya, so I will instruct her that today you have to go first to Rasa, then go to the cabin, open the server. So what I'm telling her, I'm giving her the instructions, all the parameters which she will be needing to perform the task. Same thing, this molecular dynamic parameter file contains all the parameters which are required to perform the simulation studies. There are so many general factors present in this parameter file. We will be editing only those portions in this particular parameter file which are required to perform the dynamics. Okay, like here I can change the number of steps. I can reduce it, increase it. I can change the maximum force on my particular system. That is something which I'll be discussing when I'll be using the files. Okay, am I clear so far?
Yes, ma'am.
So once I'm performing this thing, I will be going for what? Analysis. I have performed energy minimization. So like I said, GROMACS does not aim to give you a stable structure. It only aims to do feasible geometrical corrections. So my job is to do the analysis here. This analysis will be what? Computing the potential energy of system, basically the protein. So I will be checking the potential energy of my system, which should be maximum minus 1 into 10 to the power 10 to the power 5. Okay, so this is the maximum. So if your system is having a potential energy much lower or at least this, then in that particular condition we will say that my system is stable. If it is not achieving the maximum minus 1 into 10 to the power 5, then in that condition the system will be unstable and you will not be proceeding further, and you have to change the model. You cannot do anything else, unlike your Swiss PDB, where you can do energy minimization again and again just to get that particular scale of energy. Here they will only perform the feasible steps. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So we are good to go with the next step. Now we are done with the energy minimization. This is a prerequisite to undergo the first important step in simulation. Now we will be going for equilibration. Now it is very important to achieve equilibration. Why? Because that is how the natural states are like. So we will be going for equilibration. Now what kind of equilibration we will be going for? The first equilibration we'll be going for is isothermal. That means we will be checking the temperature equilibration. We will be setting my system in such a way that my system is temperature wise equilibrated or thermally equilibrated. So we will be trying to achieve this isothermal equilibration, which is also known as NVT ensemble in GROMACS. So why it is known as NVT? Because here the number of atoms are constant, number of atoms are constant, volume will be constant, and the temperature will be also kept constant. During this particular this thing, we will be trying to achieve the isothermal equilibration. This is also achieved with the help of an MDP file, because this MDP file will be containing the information that how many time frames need to be done, what is the time till what we have to do the equilibration steps, and etc. So MDP file will also be introduced here. Am I clear?
Yes,
If
ma'am.
you're now we have performed something, so this will be followed by analysis. Now in this analysis we will be checking what if my system is temperature equilibrated or not. If it is not equilibrated, if not temperature equilibrated, what we will do, it does not mean that you will discard your system. It means that you have to do equilibration for a little longer. Supposingly you have done first the equilibration for 1 nanosecond, then you will increase it to 2 nanoseconds, so then you will be, so it does not matter how much time it is taking. It is like this is my requirement that we have to equilibrate your system. Okay, so if it is not equilibrated in the time frame which you have provided to GROMAC, does not mean that your system cannot be equilibrated. Just increase the time frame, but your system needs to be equilibrated. Once your system is equilibrated, you will be going for next, which is isochoric. Now what is this? This is NPT, ensemble. Now what is isochoric, guys? So isochoric means pressure stable. So here we will be talking about number of atoms stable, constant, pressure will be constant along with the temperature which is constant. That means we are continuing from where we left here. Once the temperature is equilibrated, we'll be working on that system. So we are continuing with the temperature ensemble but adding on the pressure ensemble. So here also the same process, using the MDP we'll try to achieve the pressure equilibration. Correct, guys? So we will be going for these two equilibrations. Again, the same thing. Once your system is temperature wise and pressure wise equilibrated, we will be going for the next step, that is actual molecular dynamic simulations. So once your system is well equilibrated, you will be going for next, which is molecular dynamics, where we will free my system from every kind of restraints and then study how my system behaves. Now this is also done with the help of MDP file, molecular dynamic parameter file. Now here, if you're saying that for 1 nanosecond you're running, if your system shows you unstability, how it is done, how I'm saying it is unstable, obviously that is part of analysis. But if I get to know that my system is not, showing stability in 1 nanosecond, you have to increase the time frame to study it. But here we will be giving the conclusion if my system is stable or not. Here it is not. Here we have to achieve the equilibration. After equilibration is achieved, we will go for this. So when the MDP files is set, we will be going for the 1 nanosecond thing. We will try to do it for 2. Now, if you ask me that how much time frame is minimum required, I would say that you can go for 1 nanosecond also. But if you're aiming for good publications, where you want to report your simulated structure or system, minimum 6 to 10 nanosecond is needed. Now why everyone is not performing this, what is the problem? The problem is that the more time frame you are studying your system, more computational power will be needed, so it will not be very cost friendly. That is why the cost comes in between in order to do these simulation studies. So 1 nanosecond may, the minimum cost a server like the server which we are using in our company for our industrial services. At that particular time frame, 1 nanosecond service is 5,000. So 1 nanosecond will not give you anything. 3 to 5,000. I'm not sure about the cost. For 10 nanosecond, it will be around 10 to 15 nanoseconds. So based on this, cost only people are refraining themselves, but it is very important to study my system for longer time frames. The much longer time frame you will be studying over here, the much better conclusions you will be able to give on your system stability. Am I clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is how we're going to perform the molecular dynamics. So the first is the setup, second is your energy minimization, and third is your equilibration, and the fourth is your molecular dynamics. Now here when you will be talking next, I would say that I will be running the analysis. Now when you are saying analysis, the analysis can be done depending on what you want to analyze. The most important analysis which is very important for the stability will be root mean square deviation. This root mean square deviation will be telling you whether your system has shown some deviations or not. Supposingly you are having a C-shaped protein in the starting and after the simulation it turned into S. What do you think? It is a stable structure? Yes guys, what do you think?
No, ma'am.
Why?
It should maintain its structure
Correct.
with time.
Correct. Because if the structure is changed, what does it mean? Protein is changing. Protein is changing, matlab the function is changing. So basically the deviation should be very, very less. Correct? So root mean square deviation will help us to understand the deviation in your structure after the simulations are done. That is how you will be giving the conclusions on stability of your protein structure. Correct? Second type of analysis which will also be leading you to the stability will be radius of gyration. Now what is radius of gyration, guys? So radius of gyration basically is nothing but the measurement of compactness of your protein. That means it will help us to understand the different types of foldings or unfoldings that have occurred during the simulations. So what do you think? The foldings and the unfoldings should occur?
No, ma'am.
No. Why? Again, the same reason. If you're saying that your protein is foldings, then what does it mean? It is changing its structure. If it is unfolding, again, there will be some deviations in the structure. Therefore, the radiation of gyration should also show you some stability. Similarly for the radius of gyration. So these two parameters will help us to give us conclusive statements on the stability of the protein which I will be dealing with. Fine.
Yes,
So any questions in the concept and everything? Okay. So tomorrow we will be doing the performing part. Okay. So when I'm saying I'll be setting up the environment, cleaning up the everything. Now tomorrow I'll be performing each and every step. Okay. Now while performing each and every step, I need to make you understand all the kinds of functions and flags. You guys have done modeler. So there was a simple command line over there, mod 9.24 currently, and we say build profile.py, right? That was a simple command line to perform, where mod 9.24 basically tells you that you're using this version of modeler, and then simply the Python script you're running. Similarly, here also we will be using long command lines, where it will be having different functions and flags and files. So I will be making you understand the role of each and function and flag. Because when you're working with command line, it is not only that you just have to run the command lines and everything, because you will be encountering so many errors. that you can only solve if you understand what you are actually performing. So tomorrow we will be learning the actual process. So tomorrow we will be learning the actual process of performing these simulations using GROMAX. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions?